You open TikTok for just 5 minutes. An hour later, you don't even remember what you watched. Here's the strange part: you didn't enjoy most of it. Some of it even made you anxious. So, why did you keep watching? The answer isn't you have no self control. It's something happening inside your brain that most people never notice until it's already changed how they think. Let's start with the obvious suspect: dopamine. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical people think it is. Research in neuroscience shows it's more about anticipation than reward. It's the what's next chemical. TikTok is built on unpredictability. Every swipe could be boring, or hilarious, or shocking. Your brain doesn't know which, and that uncertainty is exactly what keeps dopamine firing. This is called a variable reward schedule. It's the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive, not because every pull wins, because you never know when it will. But here's where most videos on this topic stop. There's something deeper happening, something about your attention itself. Every time you swipe away from a video, even a boring one, you're training a habit loop. Swipe, forget, swipe again. Psychologists call the effort it takes to refocus after switching tasks attention residue. Part of your mind stays stuck on the last thing, even as you move to the next. On TikTok, you do this every few seconds. So the question becomes, what happens to your attention span after hundreds of these micro switches a day? Some researchers propose that heavy, fast switching media use may be associated with more difficulty sustaining attention on slower tasks like reading or studying. This is still an active area of research, and the evidence is correlational, not proof of causation. But the pattern is consistent enough that it's worth taking seriously. Now, here's the part almost nobody explains correctly. The word doomscrolling is usually reserved for bad news, but TikTok has its own version, even if the content isn't about disasters. It's the scroll where you're not searching for anything, you're not even enjoying it, you're just continuing. Why would your brain keep going even without enjoyment? This is where a concept from behavioral psychology called extinction burst comes in. When a habit isn't immediately rewarded, your brain doesn't stop. It tries harder first, hoping the reward is just one more try away. That's the doom scroll. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's doing exactly what it evolved to do, searching for a payoff that might come with the next try. So we've solved why you keep scrolling. But there's a bigger mystery. Why do you feel worse afterward? This is where it gets interesting, and where a lot of channels get it wrong. Some studies do find an association between heavy, short form video use and lower self reported mood, especially in teens. But other studies find no significant link once factors like sleep and existing mental health are controlled for. The honest answer: the research is mixed, and no serious scientist claims TikTok causes depression. What we can say is more careful. Certain patterns of use correlate with certain mood outcomes, not that one directly causes the other. So if it's not simply TikTok makes you sad, what is actually going on? One well supported mechanism is social comparison. TikTok's algorithm is excellent at finding people richer, funnier, more attractive, or more successful than you, because that content keeps people watching longer. Comparison research going back decades shows that upward social comparison, comparing yourself to people who seem better off, can lower mood and self esteem in the short term. TikTok didn't invent this, it just automated it and made it endless. Here's the twist, though: it's not the comparison itself, it's the volume. In daily life, you might make a handful of social comparisons. On TikTok, you can make hundreds in an hour, each one a tiny hit of not good enough. Individually, they're nothing. Stacked together, they add up. The same way one raindrop is nothing, but a storm is not. Now let's talk about the part almost nobody mentions: sleep. This is one of the most well established findings in this entire topic. Blue light exposure before bed has a modest effect on melatonin, but the bigger issue is simpler. Engagement itself delays sleep. Your brain doesn't wind down while it's in reward seeking mode. So, one more video doesn't just cost you a few minutes, it resets your body's readiness for sleep. And here's the connection almost nobody draws: poor sleep independently worsens attention, mood regulation, and stress response. This is strongly supported by decades of sleep research. So even if TikTok itself didn't directly change your brain chemistry, the sleep loss it causes might explain a lot of the TikTok brain fog people report. This is the real hidden side effect, not addiction in the dramatic sense, not brain damage. It's this quiet chain reaction: unpredictable rewards keep you scrolling, endless comparison chips at your mood, and lost sleep amplifies both. None of these effects alone would be alarming. It's the stacking that matters. So, what actually works, based on the research we do have? Not willpower. Studies on habit change consistently show that removing friction works better than trying to resist temptation through sheer discipline. Simple things: charging your phone outside the bedroom, turning off autoplay, setting app limits that require an extra step to bypass. These don't rely on you having more self control. They rely on making the automatic behavior slightly harder to trigger. Something else that's often overlooked: the goal isn't zero social media. Even researchers studying digital well being agree that moderate, intentional use isn't inherently harmful. It's the mindless, autopilot scrolling, the kind you don't even remember that correlates with the worst outcomes. Which brings us back to that moment at the very start: opening the app for 5 minutes and losing an hour without noticing. That's not a character flaw. That's a system built by very smart people using well understood psychology, designed to do exactly what it's doing. Understanding that doesn't mean you're powerless against it. It means you finally know what you're up against. Here's the one thing worth remembering: the app isn't reading your mind. It's just very good at noticing what makes any human pause. And once you notice that too, you get to decide whether to keep scrolling or put the phone down. So next time you catch yourself mid scroll, ask yourself, are you choosing this, or is something else choosing for you?